And holy crap, they have Big Bird. Or one of them. What's up, you guys? Chet-Guthrie, the Dream Poet here, coming to you all from beautiful downtown Atlanta. Anyway, you guys, my sister and I, we are here to see the one, the only Atlanta Comic Con. Now, there are some really cool names that are going to be at this convention. One of them is Grim Life Collective. I've wanted to meet Michael and Jessica for a while now, but as per tradition with my sister and I, while we go on these conventions together, we like to go to at least one place before we go to the actual convention. We've done that with Dragon Con, and we've also done that with Smoky Mountain Fan Fest. Anyway, you guys, we are here at the museum, or the Center for the Puppetry Arts. We were going to see the Delta Aviation Museum, but they closed at 3. Talk about that kind of sucks. So anyway, guys, we're gonna get inside and let's see what we have inside the Museum Center of Puppetry Arts. Let's do it. And this is cool. Look, they have a photo op here. Of course, none other than probably some of the best puppets ever, Sesame Street. Now, one of the cool things about this museum, you guys, is they do have some of Jim Henson's puppets. You know, Jim Henson, the Muppet creator himself. Anyway, they have a really cool exhibit for him. Anyway, look, I guess if you had a Big Bird, you'd get a photo op with him. I really like how they have all this. This is pretty darn neat. But look, it's felt. Kind of reminds me of the jungle room at Graceland. You know what? I think we picked a rather interesting time to come to the Museum Center of Puppetry Arts. They have a puppet camp going on. But anyway, guys, I think we're gonna check out the Jim Henson Gallery first. But here in front of the exhibit galleries, they have this really cool puppet from Italy. And I really like how this is the opening for this museum. It's a knight. Let's see what it says about his Orlando Emanuele Marquet. Made in 1958, Italy, Sicily, Cantina. Type, rod marionette. Materials, wood, textile, and metal. Now it's kind of cool how like they tell about what a puppet is, or how they're made, and how they can influence media and whatnot. And it kind of has it like right there, what is a puppet? And this about sums up some of the stuff that they have here. Heroes and villains, teachers and fools, clowns and kings. Such easily recognized characters appear again and again in stories from different countries, cultures, and times. Puppetry loves action, and a common archetype is the reluctant hero, a seemingly average person who faces incredible challenges and danger. Of course, talking about performance, without a puppeteer, a puppet is just an inanimate object. Skilled performers bring the motionless figure to life, infuse them with personalities. However, puppeteers rarely work alone. Whether played on guitars, flutes, stairs, shamizens, music plays an integral part is nearly all performance. Now let us see one of the greatest puppeteers in modern times. Of course, Jim Henson. You know, sadly, the Muppet ride, which was one of the last big things he worked on, you know, it has gone the way of the dodo. Disney decided that they didn't need it anymore. But they kind of went and switched over to put it all to that roller coaster that they have at Hollywood Studios. So let's go inside. You know, that man had quite a mind. Huh. This is an interesting setup. Oh, what's this guy right here? Let me see. This guy's name is Omar. Performed in Salmon Frames by Jim Henson. Designed and built by Jim and Jane Henson. Date 1955. Oh, that's cool. Omar. A gift from the family of Jim Henson. That's kind of cool. We're in puppetry holy ground. There's Kermit the Frog. Probably one of Jim Henson's best known creations. I'll show some of how it all began. And what do we have here? New York, New York. Riding a wave of success in Washington, D.C., Jim and company moved to New York City, where their artistic and professional development flourished. Henson filled his schedule with commercial work and television programs such as The Today Show, The Ed Sullivan Show, The Jimmy Dean Show, and expanding his own creative efforts in animation and filmmaking. Let's see, this may have been, oh, it says it right here. Jim's office. While best known for his work on the Muppets, Jim Henson's days were filled with extraordinary range of creative projects. Jim's offices reflected his work and his interests. So this is a recreation of his office. Or if not, there's probably a lot of original stuff here, more than likely. Look at that Kermit the Frog lamp. Of course, you've got some gold records. Of course, you got some Golden Globes. And that is one really cool paper mache moose. Definitely fits the vibe of the museum and who Jim Henson was. That's interesting. Let's see, group scene for a Broadway show. Group scene, okay, we've already read that. Set design for the Cube. Of course, it's playing one of Jim Henson's interviews. The Cube. It's cool that they have all of this here. What's this? The Royal Muppets. And this right here is an animation stand. In 1960, Jim began producing short animated films that featured jazz music tracks. 5 years later, he combined his animation with live action sequences to create 8-minute experimental film Timepiece, which earned Henson an Academy Award nomination. So, that's what this is. Let's see. Looks like it really does anything, but pretty darn cool. And here's a burnt Ernie stained glass. That's really beautiful. Although it may just be, oh, it's not true painted glass. It's pretty cool that they have a display like this. Bert and Ernie stained glass reproduction of a stained glass window was hung in Jim Henson's New York City office. Head writer Jerry Jewell commissioned the top half of the window to give to Jim as a Christmas present, and that following year provided the lower half to the complete image. Okay, I'm really starting to enjoy this museum. This is cool. This is Jim Henson's puppet workshops. Early Henson designers were mentored by Don Salem, experimented with a wide range of materials and techniques. Oh, look at this, they've got the camel. You know, if that camel could really only tell a story, imagine like how everything was brought to life. Jim Henson was definitely a treasure. I kind of hate that he passed away. He did. Here, this is what explains it. Camel performed in the Muppet Show, designed by Michael Firth and built by Carol Lee Wilcox in 1978. Again, I say, this piece of puppetry history tells quite a story. But because we are here in the Puppetry Museum, here's some other stuff. Like here is the Octopus number 7, performed on the Ed Sullivan Show by Frank Oz, designed by the Jim Henson Company. Oh look, it's one of the rats. One second, let me clear out to where you can actually see it. Look, I fondly remember the rats in the Muppet Show. Let me see, performed in the Muppet Show, designed and built by the Jim Henson Company. But yes, that's probably one of the cool things that I remember about, here, let me do it this way. That's one of the fond things that I remember about this puppet, or several puppets, was the rats. And here's Old Lady Possum. This was on Emmett Otter's jug brand for Christmas. Again, another amazing piece of puppetry history. We have Dog. See, this dog performed in The Storyteller, and that was in 1986. And it was constructed from foam latex, fox fur, metal wire, and wood glass. And here in the glass, it kind of shows like how he operated. But, like, look at all these pieces. Like, imagine that's what brought some of these amazing creations to life. I mean, nowadays it seems like Hollywood has gone the way of, what do you call it? Has gone the way of CGI, but back then that, like, it took some real showmanship to do something like this. And we've got some more historic puppets right here. Anything Muppet Orange, performed in Sesame Street, designed and built by the Jim Henson family. So again, while we don't have Big Bird here in Atlanta, at least we have some pieces, or smaller stuff, of Sesame Street. Let's see, what do we have here? Mom Muskrat, Emmett Otter's Jug Band, Christmas designed and built by the Jim Henson family. Oh, that's cool. Here, let me stand right about here so you all can see it. That's the thing about glass, is it has a pretty nasty reflection if you're not careful. We'll see. Performed in the Muppet Show, designed by the Jim Henson Company in 1980. Again, another amazing piece of Muppet history. Pilot, post-production cast of Farscape character Pilot. Suitcase number 3. Puppet performed in the Muppet Show, designed in 1978. And they have Featherstone. Again, I fondly remember this guy on the Muppet Show. If y'all don't know, I mean, I grew up on the Muppets. My mom was a huge fan growing up of the Muppets, and I used to watch a lot of the reruns. So that's how I got to really, maybe that's why it's like it carries from one generation to another. And they've got a lot of foam bodies too. This shows you how all of these were made. It's cool to think too. Here's some other different wiring hands, different types of nails, different drawings. Of course, some more awesome stuff. I think I was wrong. From what I understand, someone told me that there are multiple Big Birds, and there are also multiple Bert and Ernies. And this is some of the originals. Again, I grew up on Sesame Street as well, especially Mr. Rogers. This is cool, like getting to see some of the screen-used puppets all these years later. Let's see, Ernie. Puppet performed in Sesame Street, built by the Henson Company. Of course, Bert, starting with his early walk-ins Grimm created pairs of Muppet characters who are often at odds with one another. So that kind of explains who Bert and Ernie were. You know, like I said, this is cool to me. This is puppetry holy ground. And holy crap, they have Big Bird. or one of them. Gosh, that is a really large costume. Let me see what it says. Carol Spinney. Jim met Carol Spinney in the 1969 Puppeteers of America Festival and invited him to appear on Sesame Street. For nearly 50 years, Spinney performed as Big Bird, Oscar for the Grouch, and other characters. He became so adept at working Big Bird that he could even wear roller skates while gliding across the street. And this is one of them. One meant to, really keep for the generations that come by or pass. Let's see. Look, even Big Bird signed it himself. And you know what? It is definitely hard to believe that Sesame Street is over 50 years old now. Wait, is that an original Kermit? Not Kermit, Elmo? God, let me see what it says. The character Elmo first appeared in The Unnamed Monster and was originally designed by Carol Wilcox and built by Leslie. So yeah, looks like this is one of the original Elmos too. And Grover! Like I said, this brings back a lot of childhood memories. Let's see, Puppet performed in Sesame Street. So they've also got Grover. I don't really remember the cowboy all that much. See, I kind of remember him. Or Harry Monster. So he was built in 1970, but again, 1969. You know what? I think this show still helps growing minds, or still broadcasts good values to growing minds. And of course, we got some more. Hoots performed in Sesame Street by Kevin Clash, designed by Michael Firth. And another one. Anything Muppet, purple, 1970. And it only continues. They have a movie set up, or a fake or Fox movie set up, filming the frame. Jim Henson built his puppetry creations for the medium of television and film, where he discovered that the camera frame could be used as his stage. And it's got a pretty cool it's a really cool photo op. But I also want to say it gives you kind of an idea of like how all this worked. Let's see, you stand here. Next thing you know, the world will be your stage. You've got cameras and whatnot. Let me see, Tales from Muppet Land. That's an interesting cart. In 1962, soon after the end of Sam and Friends, Jim came to Atlanta to film a 30-minute television pilot called Tales of the Trinkety, which featured a still lizard-like Kermit in a fairy tale setting. Oh, cool. Look, they've got some more here. Tales from Muppet Land. Catgut. So you've also got Rover Joe. T.R. Rooster. Quite an interesting group. And Tamanella, another one designed by Jim Henson. Quite a nice face. One tooth, kind of reminds me of Patrick a little bit. And oh my god. Oh my god. They have Kermit. My favorite. Kermit. They have Kermit the Frog. Oh my god. Sorry, this is so cool. I'm actually standing next to Kermit. Or at least about as close as I think I'm gonna get. And they've got some others right here, like the penguin, one of the chickens. Gosh, I remember that. Let me see, Miss Kitty. Let me see what else they have. Looks like they've got some Fazbob from the Muppet Show, Fazbob #1, Fazbob number 3, and Foob number 2. Oh cool, and they have like the silhouette ones too, the shadow puppets. Like of the old lady, or the dogs, or even the horse right there. Gosh, the Muppet Show was something special. Again, I just hate how like what Disney's going to do with it. It breaks my heart. It really does. Of course, I've got the boat, the old Badgers. Look, they have the Dark Crystal. Look how they have that set up. The Crystal Chamber model. Gosh, now I mean, I'm not really much of a Dark Crystal person. I kind of like the Labyrinth a little bit more. Reoccur Gelfling. Another amazing. This is, like I said, this is so cool to see what they have. And look, it's Jin. Let's see, weirdly milder. That's so cool. From Dark Crystal, they actually have the, again, there are so many cool things here that, quite honestly, if you're not careful, you could get lost in the middle of thought. And look! Look! They have Irek, the Scribe, the Mystic. Now that is a very, very large puppet. And I mean, if you're like a Dark Crystal fan, I mean, gosh, you'd be going nuts over the stuff that they have in here. Oh, look, they've actually got some stuff from the Labyrinth. I admire, the reason why I like it so much is because David Bowie was in the Labyrinth. Can't go wrong with David Bowie. Let's see. The Door Knocker. Sarah encounters many portals on her journey. For a fake door, that is very large. Of course, I've got some other stuff from the Labyrinth as well. Like Pico, Crystal Balls, and the Blue Nose Goblin. These guys are kind of creepy. I forget these guys. Performed by the Jim Henson Hour. I said, that one's kind of creepy. This show has an imagination that flows like lava and psychedelic volcano. Nick Snake, Marcus Bird, and Lenny the Lizard. Now let's see what they have in the Global Collection. And now that we're inside the Global Collection, Lily just pointed this to me. Here is Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. The actual little black kitty, and look how he was operated. But they also gave him like his little outfits too. Lily, thank you for telling me about this place. This is probably way more cool than the Delta Museum. Oh boy! Now, if you're a Ghostbusters fan, you will love this one. Here's Slimer. Yes, Slimer. Let's see, 2023, performed by Kevin Mangold in the Frozen Empire.
That's why you wear them.
So this is from Frozen Empire. It's not the original, but it was filmed with the 2024 film. Now, I might not be a fan of musicals, but Lily pointed this out to me. This is Scar from The Lion King. Now, that musical actually I do like. I like how they did that one, but yeah, there's one of the masks. And right across from him, they also have Mufasa's mask as well. Of course, they've got Chinese, no, I want to say that's Japanese. But they have, okay, anyway, it's the art that they have for this. Let's see what it says. Marui Nukak, puppets dance in the water. Oh, Vietnam. So actually this is Vietnamese. My apologies. Okay then. But look how all that worked. That's so neat. Water puppets. Look, they got a turtle. Alrighty, you guys. I think this is gonna be another vlog for another day. This was a really cool museum. Anyway, you guys, make sure to like and subscribe. Always means a lot. Goes to show that y'all care and that y'all want to see more awesome videos like this. So without further ado, you guys, this vlog is over. See y'all on the next one. Peace.